Without this, your business will fail. It's guaranteed. I've watched it happen over and over and over again. 97% of small businesses fail within the first 10 years. That's 3 of 100 who make it. Okay? So, if you are married, and by the way, if you're thinking about getting married, now is the time to talk about business. What your expectations are, what her expectations are. Now is the time to talk about it. It's very important. It'll make or break your business, and it will make or break your marriage. I've coached husbands and wives. Anytime I can coach the business owner with the spouse, I ask to do that. A lot of them say they don't need to be involved or whatever, but I always ask because I try to help them set expectations for the business. I just don't think that's talked about enough in a marriage, pre-marriage, or during a marriage. So I coached a husband and wife one time, and I got them both on the phone. And she said she had a part-time job, but she stayed at home. She raised the kids, and that's what they had agreed on. That's what they wanted to do. But she just did not realize the expectation of how many hours it takes to run a business. So she felt he was neglecting the children and her. He felt constant pressure of not being able to do his job, not being able to work past 5 o'clock, and it caused a lot of stress in their marriage. So we're going to talk about this today because without this, your business will fail. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Greg McAfee Show, where we discuss steps to successful entrepreneurship, how to take your business to new heights, and ultimately follow your dreams. Without this, your business is bound to fail, okay? In a marriage, if you are married and you run a business, in a marriage, there has to be alignment, dedication, communication, or it will fail. In a business, your spouse must have alignment, dedication, and communication about your business, or it will fail. Guaranteed, most every time. So let's talk about setting expectations. Number 1, set expectations early. With your spouse. Like I said earlier, if you're getting married, now's the time to talk about this. Does he or she know how many hours it's going to take to run this business, to grow this business, to start this business, to operate this business, to manage employees, to do what it takes to be successful? Do they know that? Most of the time they don't. Now, there are some very, very successful businesses and very, very successful marriages within that business ownership that work extremely well. They really do. And that's on purpose. They've talked about it. They understand the concept. They're on the same page. So number 1, set expectations early with the spouse. A business is a full-time commitment. And then some. It is not a 9-to-5 job. It will not work that way. If you are married and you don't include your spouse in the reality journey, this is reality, folks, expect resistance, tension, and confusion running your business and at home. That's a fact. It's not about permission. It's not getting permission from a spouse to do something. It's about alignment. It's about understanding. It's about expectations. I'm a firm believer in setting expectations early. I've learned when I don't set expectations early how bad it can go. And that's in my marriage and in my business. You wouldn't move states. You wouldn't call your spouse today and say, we're moving to another state without discussing it. Or don't build your business then, rather, without talking about the sacrifices that it takes. Because it is a sacrifice to run a successful business. If you want a business that just makes a little money, enough to barely get by, enough for you to be what you think is comfortable, then don't listen to this podcast. It's not for you. But if you want a business that's successful, that makes basically huge profits, double digit, and I teach how to make 20, 25% net profits. But if you want a business that's successful, it's number one in your market, that employs people, provides jobs, then you need what we're talking about today. It's for you. And the result, harmony at home. Boy, what's that worth? Even when the business is in chaos. Okay? Number 2, the business is a baby. Year 1, constant attention. It's a newborn. This is how I relate to growing a business. I've had children. I've had businesses. Year 1 takes constant attention. Year 2 takes constant attention. Year 3 needs daily 24/7 supervision. You wouldn't leave a 3-year-old home alone. You wouldn't leave a 4-year-old home alone. I don't think we'd even leave a 5-year-old home alone. Now, you'd leave a 5-year-old to themselves in a room, but you have supervision. You are close by if they need you. They could go outside and in the backyard and play if it's a safe area, fenced in probably, maybe, I don't know. But 5-year-olds, they're just starting. 6-year-olds, they're starting to stand alone. 7-year-old, 8-year-olds. They're trying to become more dependent, but they still need you all the time. Most of the time. Still not going to leave them home alone. The mistake that owners make today is they think their business can run without them in the first 5 years. And typically that's not the case at all. So they think it runs itself, and it doesn't. Or they get too comfortable, and they just start making some money, and they think they can go on a week's vacation. Okay. Maybe you can if you are in a very hot climate. I've talked about this before, and you've got 50 people already in 5 years, then you go. But in Dayton, Ohio, where I am from, that's not the case. I don't know of any companies that start and go 0 to 50 employees in a climate that could be 60 degrees year round. It just doesn't happen that way, folks. And those of you in those climates understand what I'm talking about. Those of you that are in Las Vegas or Florida, Arizona, maybe, you don't understand that concept. You don't know how fortunate you are to be able to grow as fast as you do. Sometimes that's good and bad, but that's not what we're talking about today. The result is when you treat it like a child, it grows strong, solid. It's going to be around for a while. All right, number 3, dedication over everything. Comfort must be sacrificed, especially in the early years. Your job is to stay uncomfortable. Never get comfortable. I don't care. I sold my business after 35 years. I still wasn't comfortable. I still wanted improvements made. I never got comfortable. I've been retired from my company now for, I don't know, a little over 45 days or so. I've started a new company, Platinum RV Storage. You can pull it up. Platinum RV Storage, New Carlisle, Ohio. You can pull it up. I'm starting all over. I'm definitely not comfortable here. I want so many clients leasing space from me. So this place for me, it has to be self-sufficient. It has to provide for its own. Yes, I'm taking money out of my pocket right now to pay bills and to pay. I'm a very expensive bill payer, I think, but that's all I do anymore is write checks, it seems like. But anyway, I'm not comfortable. I'm extremely uncomfortable. People say, well, why didn't you just retire? That's not in my DNA. I'm not like retiring. I'm having fun, and I'm trying to have more fun. My son challenged me, Travis. He's been on a podcast with me or two, and he's challenged me the other day. Dad, this is supposed to be fun, because he's working with me right now. And but anyway, that's a me problem. I'm working on it being more fun, but I'm also extremely serious about growing things, growing businesses. So if you're not willing to put in the work, and if you're not willing to put in the hours, I'm not going to tell you here how many hours it takes. I've heard guys say if you can't work 60 hours a week, then hang it up. I've heard guys say it takes more like 70 or 80. But when I do coach and the first questions I start asking is how many hours do you put in a week? And they're telling me between 40 and 50. I flat out tell them, I don't know if I can coach you, because I know it takes much, much more than that. You're just not that good to start a business and only work 40 to 50 hours a week, because it takes a lot more dedication than that. And everybody wants freedom, but few want the responsibility of what it takes to earn that freedom. And the result, though, is a disciplined approach that builds long-term freedom. I love freedom. I love growing something to where it's running itself. And when it gets to that point, I don't know what that point is. For me, it's probably longer than a lot of people, because I'm still doing the kid thing. I'm still doing the age thing. My business today is totally different than my heating and air conditioning company. My heating and air conditioning and at the end, plumbing also, it requires a lot of people touching things. We had tens of thousands of employees we were serving a year. We had many employees. We had many things going on. We were 24/7, 365. I specifically started this business in my fourth quarter of life, I call it, that doesn't require many employees. It doesn't require many people. More like hundreds instead of tens of thousands. So I can deal with that. It's a lot less stress. It's a lot less touching things. I like that. All right, number 4, get your spouse, your marriage on your team. I will say right here, and I'm going to have her on my podcast here really soon. Naomi is my wife of 35 years. Remember, we got married, we bought our first home, and we started McAfee Heating and Air all the same time. So we've got 35 years into both of them before I sold McAfee. I am blessed to have her as my wife. Her goal when we were dating, she told me her goal was to be a stay-home mom. So I knew I was going to be the provider. And it's not a bad thing to say that today in America. My wife wanted me to be a provider. She loves for me to be a provider today. We get along well that way. I like providing. I feel it's my job to provide. If she wanted to get a part-time job now that we don't have any kids at home, that would be fine, but she doesn't have to worry about providing. I look at it as my job to be the provider. I love providing. And today, I love providing in an abundance way. That's just how it is. Because originally, I could not provide in an abundance way. We barely got by. We both got $20 a week for an allowance. Think about it. Even with inflation over 35 years, that's probably less than $60 a week allowance. How much gas, food, fun will that get you? Not very much. But we both knew we had to sacrifice a little bit at the beginning to enjoy what we have today. And it has worked extremely well. I am living proof. She is living proof. It's awesome. Okay, but you got to get your spouse and your marriage on your team. They don't have to work in the business. It actually is very hard. Very, very few marriages really work well together in a business and at home. It's hard. That's even harder. There are some that are very successful, but it's very few. So, but they do have to support the business. Naomi would always tell our kids, Dad is working late tonight because we can have this, and do this. And she was my back. She had my back. She was a supporter, and my children just never complained. And I have said this 100 times on this show that I never missed a game. I never missed. They were both very athletic. They both played multiple sports, and I never missed a game. And I coached most of the time. I told someone today, I didn't take on every coaching. First of all, I don't know enough about every sport to coach it. I coached football, I coached some basketball, and that was about it. And but I didn't say, I was asked to coach many things, and I said no, because I knew I couldn't be 100% dedicated to it. I was there at a lot of the practices, supporting them, and I never missed a game. And I would drive back home to make a game, and then drive back to a seminar or whatever it was. So it wasn't like I wasn't dedicated. I just didn't take on everything because I knew I couldn't give it 100%. And I knew I couldn't be there all the time in order to provide. Okay. Here's what I'd love to hear people say. Honey, here's the hours that I'll be gone. Okay? And, if you're creative enough, you can figure out, hey, here's what we're going to do. And this is exactly what I did. Mondays, I was a long day. Long day. Many times I would come back home and I would eat dinner and I'd go back out again. These were the first 10 years. I'll tell you that right now. First 10 years of business. Mondays were long days. Tuesdays were long days. Wednesday, we used to have church on Wednesday nights, and they rarely do nowadays. It's sad. But Wednesdays, I was typically home by 4 or 5. And when we went to church, I was done. It was a short day for me. Although I'd start at 6, I was done at 4. That still comes out to a 10-hour day. That was a short day. Thursday was a long day. Friday was always family night, pizza night, movie night, whatever you want to call it. And I would always try to be home by 5 o'clock. So Friday, a shorter day. Saturday was a normal day for me. Many, many years, the first 10 years, I'd work all day Saturday, and then I finally got it down to half days. I'd work half days on Saturday. Sunday was always my day of rest, other than running emergency calls, because when you're in heating and air, we all know it's an emergency service. But I had a system, and it helped the family. It wasn't hit and miss. It was our system. So here's the hours. Here's what I might miss. Here's when I'm coming home, but let's stick it out because it's going to pay off later. And it did. Don't hide pressure, share the vision. Each one of you have to share your vision as a spouse. Build the dream together because it is a dream. And if you'll hang in there long enough, you'll find out. I hung in there for 35 years and it has paid off extremely well. And we've dreamed big. We've hit big goals. The sale was awesome. And we're killing it. We're killing it today. And we like it. It's fun. All right. So the result of doing that, the home team becomes the biggest competitive advantage. Man, that's fun. Okay. All right. Number 5, communicate constantly. Talk about the schedules, the setbacks, the wins. Celebrate milestones together. I told you we have 10 years ago, our 25th wedding anniversary, our 25th year in business. We bought matching Rolex watches, his and hers, and it's engraved on the bottom of it. 25 years of marriage, 25 years of business. And that was cool to do because I had never owned a Rolex up until that time. Now, since then, I like them so well, I have a few more, and they were pretty cool. Along with Breitling watches. I love Breitling. And so I now collect watches. That's why you always see me wearing 2. I call that because I'm constantly on double time. All right. So if your spouse feels left out, they'll check out. Know that. Or worse, they'll turn against you and they'll turn against the business, and then pretty soon you're divorced, and that's not good. That's terrible, actually. Coming from a divorced family, I don't recommend that on anybody. So communication solves the resentments big time. And the result is trust builds faster than bitterness. Stay open, stay communicating. Don't be afraid of resistance, or you've got to be able to have conflict, healthy conflict. It's okay. Talk. Number 6, define what success looks like for you and your spouse. When Naomi gave me my goals, we would talk about that. Eventually she was able to do more because she had more money to spend. It was our money. It was never my money. It was our money. The more we made, the more the company made, the more we had. The first 5 years was survival. The next 5 was continuing to grow. Once we hit that 10-year, we had some milestones. Once we hit that 20th year, things were going good. The 25th year, 25th to 30th year, I started taking more money out of the company, which I'd never done before, because there was a lot of money sitting in there. It wasn't really healthy for me paying taxes on it as an S corporation and not using it. So we started taking more and more money out, which became more and more fun, which became our dreams coming true, all those types of things. Boy, it's worth it. I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. And it's not just revenue, it's lifestyle, it's faith, it's values, it's time together, it's legacy. And yeah, even though we were taking money out of the business, we weren't necessarily hoarding it. We were giving a lot of it away. We were helping other people, helping other charities, helping other families, helping children. A lot of different things we were still do today. It's just cool stuff. But share the finish line. You got to see that finish line. You can't run a race without knowing where that finish line is, or you're just going to continue to run until you pass out. You've got to see that finish line. Talk about it. People say all the time, I said after 35 years, I was done. I was done. I was ready. I loved what I did for many, many years. I was done. I was ready. I talk to guys all the time like, I'm not done. When will you be done? I mean, what is your plan? You know, this is a whole nother podcast, but think about that. You know, you've been doing this for 40 years. What is your plan? Are you going to die on the job, or what are you going to do? All right. You got to have aligned goals with your spouse, and long-term unity is what you want. All right. Number 7, and lastly, prepare for seasons. Not only within your family. In other words, hey guys, it's supposed to be the hottest summer ever. So we're not going anywhere. I'm not leaving. We'll take some long weekends. We'll have some fun. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. But we're not going anywhere on a long vacation because it's supposed to be the hottest season ever. And this is when we make hay. And this is when we can make more money so we can do these things maybe next year or whatever. It's planning seasons. Not only did I do it within my family, I did it within my team. So I would send out a letter to families and I would say, hey, according to the Farmer's Almanac or the weather, we are going to have the hottest summer ever. So expect long hours for your spouse, for your dad, for your mom. Here's a $100 gift card to a really cool ice cream place. Go get some ice cream, but just know, expect long hours this summer. Okay? I tried to prepare. Did it work every time? Absolutely not. Did they appreciate the ice cream gift card? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean they liked what I was saying. I can't control that. All I can do is prepare them for it. Some really appreciated it. Some didn't care. But I warned them. I prepared them. Let them know what's coming up. Avoid burnout together. Avoid burnout together. That's a great line. Avoid burnout together. And the result is your family becomes resilient and more understanding. Your team's family becomes more resilient and more understanding 50% of the time. All right? Now, here's a couple things to think about before we wrap up. Business isn't a solo journey. Even though your spouse might not be in the business, it's not a solo journey. Success is only possible if you're working together, because success is impossible if your house falls apart. And know this, you don't win by ignoring your spouse. You win by including your spouse. Final quote, you can build an empire, but if you lose your family, you've lost everything. Think about that. Okay, so as we wrap up, I just want to say thanks for listening. Thanks for watching us. If you're still watching us here at the end, that means you've watched this whole thing. We now have thousands of viewers, which is a cool thing. Please tell your friends about us, your business friends. Someone you know needs to hear this about your spouse, about the family, about preparation, and about expectations. It's very important. So, as always, I hope you carry on. God bless. Make this day the best day of your life, because we're not promised tomorrow. I'll see you later.